Hello, welcome to the video tutorial on resumes. This hopefully is something that you do not just for an assignment, but something that you can create to actually apply for different jobs. So to take you through this today, we're going to create an actual resume that my son Tyler made just this past summer as he was looking for summer employment. So I wanted to just touch on the basic parts of a resume. Um, First of all, we have his name and contact information at the top. And Tyler probably should create a different email address for applying for jobs because Brunsky is his nickname and not real professional looking. So if you have an email that is cutesy or kind of weird, you might want to create an email account just with something like first last name or first initial last name so that it looks more professional. Then the first thing he has on here is his objective, and it could be something just as simple as I want to find a job for this summer. Next is his experience, and in a resume you list your experience in reverse chronological order. So that means that his most recent job from last summer is listed first, and this last job that you see at the bottom, the construction assistant, that's the job that he worked the longest time ago. Next is the education section, and that's also in reverse chronological order. So he has his year at college and then his high school. And then at the very bottom, he has 3 references. And your references should never be a relative, especially not a close family member. You want to try to keep these objective, people that you've worked for that aren't related to you so that they can be trusted to give a good reference. Of course, your mom is always going to say wonderful things about you even when you're not wonderful. So for professional reasons, you need to make sure that your references aren't related. Okay, let's learn how to go in and get a template to create this resume. I'm going to go to File, New, and we're going to go down here in the office.com templates to this section, Resumes and CVs. And we're going to look in Basic Resumes. And in here you have a lot of different options. Some work better than others for a high school student. You're probably best doing some type of chronological resume. Curriculum vitae are used for professional people, doctors, college professors who have a lot of experience and information. And curriculum vitae are usually multiple pages long. A resume should only be 1 page. And from these templates, I really like this top one, the traditional chronological resume. So we're going to open that. And the first thing that you need to do when you open these templates is notice that it's a table. The borders have been removed, so you can't see right off that it's a table, but right away your Table Tools, Design and Layout tabs appear. You need to go to your Layout tab and select the option to view grid lines. This is going to enable you to see exactly how that template's pieced together so that you can add or remove spaces or move things around. If you're trying to build from a resume template without viewing your grid lines, it can be really frustrating because you can't tell what's happening behind the scenes. So first off, we're going to put in an address. And we'll make something up so y'all can't call Tyler and harass him. And we'll give him a more professional looking email address. Okay, then his name. Alright, now the objective, again, you're just going to really briefly list what your objective is. He just wants to find a summer job. Next we have the experience. And part of the work of putting a resume together is coming up with what to put on it and compiling accurate dates. So you might have to go back through some paycheck stubs or back through some history of your employment so that you can get accurate dates. But he worked this last summer for the U.S. Forest Service, and it was based out of Duchesne. Okay, now his job title, recreation technician. You can be creative on your job titles. Tyler cleaned the outhouses, but he's not going to want to put outhouse cleaner. Recreation technician sounds a lot better. And he's going to list in these bullets what his responsibilities were. I am not typing very well. All right. For this one, we can only come up with two responsibilities. So we're just going to select and delete this last one out. And if I'm here and still have the bullet, I can hit my backspace. And it's going to take out the bullet and the additional lines. And then I'm going to continue down here listing my different jobs I've worked and responsibilities. Now let's say that I get a job that has 4 job responsibilities and I only have space for 3. So we'll hurry and okay. Okay, I need one more bulleted item in my list, so I'm going to hit enter and go ahead and type my last item. And then I can just select all of those and on my home tab go to bullets. Now sometimes in templates your fonts are not consistent because your fonts are changing for each section. So if you notice here, this font for this last item is smaller than the previous item. This one's 10, and if I click up here, this one's 11. So I can just use my format painter and paint that down. And that just takes the guesswork out of making sure that those fonts match exactly. I also wanted to point out verb usage in a resume. Notice that all of these verbs, maintain, tow, dig, install, clear, assemble, they're present tense. And they're also matching. So I wouldn't want to say dig trenches and then installing vinyl fencing. I want to keep those verbs parallel, so I want their tense to match. And when you do that in your resume, it's just going to make it look a lot more professional and a lot more impressive. Also, as you're typing your resume, pay careful attention to punctuation, grammar, and spelling. On this assignment, I will be grading you really, really harshly on any typos or spelling mistakes. So make sure you proofread it and you spell check it and you have a friend look at it so that you can catch any of those little mistakes. I've worked for companies before who, when they're looking for new employees, will go through a stack of resumes and immediately throw out any that contain any errors. They won't even look at the content. They just assume that if that employee can't take the time to proofread, that they don't really belong at their organization. Okay, so on my template I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different places for jobs. Let's say that I only have 3 jobs to report. I'm going to go ahead and just put in this one. And I won't bore you with watching me type all of these details in, but this last one here, I don't need I only have 3 jobs that I've had in my history. So with my mouse pointed out to the edge of that table, I can drag and select those cells. And then up in my Table Tools layout, I can just choose Delete. And I want to delete my rows. And that's going to just take those out. If you don't have grid lines turned on and you just try to delete those text containers, the spaces won't go away. You'll still have a big, huge gap on your resume. So it's really important that you view your grid lines and you treat this like a table. Okay, now down in the education section, we're going to hurry and put in. If you're currently attending school, you're just going to want to put the date you began high school to the present. And for Tyler, because we're going in reverse chronological, we're doing his college first. He didn't obtain a degree, but we're going to put his major. And also he got really good grades, so we're going to put his GPA. Of course, if you have a 1.9 GPA, you're not going to want to advertise that on your resume. You want to just accentuate the positive as you go. Now Tyler has more education. He needs to put his high school on here. So I want to insert 2 additional rows underneath this college section. So I'm going to just, while I'm on this last row, I click Insert Below and Insert Below again. Now notice that this top row is divided into 3 different cells so that you can easily type in the date, the school, and the city-state. So I want to position my mouse out here to the left so that I select this entire row. And then up on my Table Tools layout, I want to split cells. And I am looking at 3 columns here and 1 row. And then just check this merge cells before split. And it's going to go ahead and section that into 3 different cells. And then I can hover my mouse pointer right over that little grid line. So I have the double-headed arrow and I can slide that over so that it matches the other one. So it will be aligned the same. Now my second row that I added here, I'm not going to split that at all. I'm going to leave it just 1 cell, just as this one is up here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my date. And you'll notice that it's wanting to keep the same font that was used up here for my major. And I want it to match this font here. So I can just use my format painter, go to my home ribbon, format painter, and then when I come back down I have the little paintbrush and I can just change that format. I'm sorry about these pop-ups, they're annoying. Okay, now I don't want this to word wrap right here, so I can actually drag this one a little farther without interfering with the alignment that's going to happen in the next cell over. Okay, I have my high school. Once again, I need to change that formatting to match the other college or school, so I'm going to use my format painter, drag that across. That matched my alignment as well, it centered it. And then I want to match my formatting also on my city-state. Okay. Next, I list. If you're taking concurrent enrollment classes through USU, it's a good idea to put that here with your high school. That really does impress employers. If you are still in school, which you are, you could type something like diploma expected, and here you would have present. You could do something like diploma expected 2016, and 3 USU concurrent enrollment credits. Something that you could tweak for your resume since you're still in high school. Okay, the last section is our references. It defaults to say references available on request. If you have room on your resume, if you haven't exceeded the 1-page limit, which most of you won't, you need to go ahead and put references on your resume. So we're going to take out this line, and I have 3 references and I want them to be in columns, much like my education up here. So with this row selected, I'm going to go to my Table Tools layout and split those cells into 3 columns and 1 row. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and type in my references. Turn this off. I'm just hitting tab in between these. Okay, I want to center this one and right justify this one. And then I want to get rid of this extra space here. So this is again Word 2010 thinking. It knows where you want a space. So you're just going to select these lines, and on your Home tab and your line spacing, you want to just choose Remove Space Before Paragraph, and then that'll take out that extra space. It looks like my spacing isn't consistent though. My vertical alignment, I'm just going to change those so that they're consistent with each other. Okay. Alright, so creating a resume. Once again, really think about the content that you're putting in here. Some of you may not have a lot of work experience. It doesn't even have to be an official paycheck type of job. If you've mowed lawns for a neighbor, if you've done babysitting, you know, one of Tyler's here, his landscaper job, this was actually done for my husband, his dad. He helped him install a vinyl fence one summer. So anything like that that gives you credibility and shows you're a hard worker, go ahead and include that on your resume. And this concludes the tutorial on creating a resume. Good luck.